When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. Septum Sin versus the world. Septum Sin versus the world. Septum Sin versus the world. Septum Sin versus the world.
I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching Septum Sin vs. the World. I'm Septum Sin, and today we're going to review The Dark Days of Demetrius, a film by Dakota Ray. I've been meaning to review another one of these films for a long time, since my review of American Antichrist, which was a very interesting look into the darkness that is society. I'd actually managed to obtain The Acid Sorcerer and a couple other of his films, but with scheduling and difficulty in getting reviews out, I have not been able to see any of the other films. Recently, though, I did manage to get a copy of his newest film, and finally sat down to watch. And I was definitely not disappointed. So let's go ahead and get into the film. This is a pretty simplistic concept. It is a narrative of a number of people, but mainly Demetrius, who is the live stream killer. Now, the live stream killer, of course, does exactly well as you would expect it would be. He kills while on live stream. Now, in this, there are a couple of other dark figures. An individual who also has similar concepts, but is more into more elaborate harm pieces, and one particular person who wants to boost their ratings on their news. All of these individuals do have a tie that binds, and that is the digital media. So let's get into it. Now, I always say this type of film, when it comes down to it, you gotta give some leeway. So before I dive in, I want you all to understand that, as I always give a little bit more leeway when it comes to lower budget filmmaking.
I deride your truth-handling abilities.
And that reflects in my final rating. Also, I give more kudos to lower budget filmmaking because there is a creativity and an originality that is usually missing from today's big budget films.
And now for something completely different.
So with that, I'm going to dive into the review. Positive angles are quite simple. The acting by Dakota Ray himself is quite spectacular. To me, there is a dark intensity in the character that really reflects well on the narrative given. It is a character that he's the focal point of this, so that's where you stay for the majority of the film. And it really does a good job in catering to those themes. Narcissism, just the darkness of society in general. These are focuses that the films that I've seen so far seem to dwell upon. This one in particular they have a great crafted story, which to me is a reflection upon the darkness in our society. One aspect where he gets a little bit bored of the killing, so he decides to let his audience decide whether they live or die. The audience at large could decide, let the person live, but they by far decide, no, kill that person. And this is a good reflection as to our internet culture. The darkness that many of us display that really dwells within ourselves when it comes to physical media. Why? Because we get that sense of anonymity.
Forbidden donut.
And that plays into the narcissism of our psychopath, Demetrius. Now, there are many people on the platform who could be known as sociopaths, but there is that fine line, and he has crossed it for this film. This is similar in a way to American Antichrist in the fact that it is shot under a particular color scheme. This one using hues of blue and darkness, as opposed to the sort of greenish hue that American Antichrist was shot in. The music itself, being more metal in nature, also reflects pretty well upon the themes, almost the satanic themes throughout the film. So we're done with a lot of the good. Now there are a few issues I do pick a bone with. The reporter character did get to me a little bit, just because it played very differently with the intensity of Dakota Ray's character, whereas this character did not have nearly the intensity level. And it did not detract from it entirely, especially at the end. I found the way that it came across playing well enough that when you see what happens to the character in the end, it kind of gave me a feeling of satisfaction with it. That maybe if the character was done slightly differently, it would have made me feel a different way. But still, this character, the way he was portrayed, acting-wise, it does bother me a little bit. On top of that, there are times where I had to retread a couple of times in the film, and that took me out of it for a few minutes, just to make sure I got some things and some points across, because there's a lot of imagery in this, and sometimes one can be overwhelmed. And then finally, which is not necessarily a detractor, but don't show your kids this film. This film has a lot of dark themes, and of course full frontal nudity at the end, which you should definitely not be exposing your youngins to.
You know, for kids.
Well, unless that's how you really want them growing up, I mean, that is up to you. But I do want to make sure that you are warned. Not that I could see this cover and go, you know, Disney, right? Disney must have produced this. For kids. But in any case, would I recommend this? Sure. I would give The Dark Days of Demetrius actually about an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed this. The intensity was really right on. This is the time of year to hook yourself up with something like this. It's dark, it's disturbing, and it has a lot of reflection on the current darkness that is plaguing society. I really do think that if you want that level of depth, you should check this out. It may be hard for some of you in the audience to watch, and though the art level is high, there are some things that keep it from getting quite up there. to the 9 or the 10. But if you really want to check this out, you should check into Dakota Ray and see if they can get you hooked up on this. A lot of times, I haven't checked to see if it's gone up on Amazon, but a lot of his other films have come up on Amazon. So you should be able to get a hold of this if you are looking for it. It is a fine film, and if you like this sort of material, I would say check it out. Well, this has been Septum Sen vs. the World, and this has been another review. Now on to the YouTube shoutout. Hello, this is Septum Sen back here with another YouTube shoutout video. Today we're going to be covering Dreamcastguy. This is one of the big fish in the market, and I try to stay away from the big fish as they really don't need my help. But occasionally I have one that I really enjoy and I would like you to check out. And I've talked about some of the other bigger ones that I have followed, and I really have avoided this one for some reason. And I'm done avoiding it. I think we should be talking about this. I don't know what it is about this particular channel. He's a video game channel. He covers video game reviews, does some top 10 lists, and some video game related and news related rants. But something about his presentation always fascinates me, to where even if I'm not interested in the subject of the video, I always end up being dragged in to watch the video. Whether it's his presentation, I don't know exactly what it is. But if you like video games, you should check the guy out and give him a look up. I can't speak to why entirely I am fascinated by this channel, but it is enjoyable, and at the very least, it is worth checking out for the video game content. I hope you've enjoyed this YouTube shout out, and I will see you on the next one.